Before we dive into today's Browns news, I want to ask you fans something. After everything that's happened this offseason, do you think Shedeur Sanders has what it takes to become Cleveland's starting quarterback? Training camp has officially kicked off, and the first practice has already given us plenty to talk about. There were standout performances, unexpected struggles, and some major developments that could completely shake up the quarterback competition. But before we get into it, hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss a single update. Let's get straight to the details of everything that went down. The battle for the Cleveland Browns' starting quarterback job may have taken its first major turn, and if the opening day of training camp is any indication, Shedeur Sanders has officially announced that he is ready to compete. From the moment he stepped onto the practice field, everything about his performance looked different. He wasn't hesitant. He wasn't overwhelmed by the moment. And most importantly, he looked completely in command of the offense. Every throw seemed to come with confidence. Every read looked decisive. And that was exactly what Browns fans wanted to see after months of speculation surrounding this quarterback competition. One of the biggest highlights of practice came when Sanders connected deep with wide receiver Casey Concepcion. As Concepcion broke free on a double move against Trey Avery, Sanders recognized the opportunity immediately. He trusted the route, stepped into the throw, and delivered a perfectly placed deep pass that dropped right into his receiver's hands. It wasn't simply another completion during practice. It was the type of throw that instantly grabs everyone's attention because it demonstrated timing, anticipation, arm talent, and confidence all at once. That wasn't the only impressive moment either. Sanders continued spreading the football around throughout practice. He found Denzel Boston during 7-on-7 drills, quickly got the ball to Dylan Sampson out of the backfield, and also connected with Luke Floriea. Rather than locking onto one receiver, he showed the ability to work through his progressions and keep the offense moving efficiently. Those are the kinds of details coaches pay close attention to during training camp because they reveal whether a quarterback truly understands the offense or is simply relying on athletic ability. Perhaps the most encouraging takeaway wasn't even one specific throw. It was the way Sanders operated from snap to snap. His decisions were quick. His footwork stayed calm. He looked composed under pressure, never appearing rushed despite competing for one of the most important jobs in football. For a rookie stepping into an intense quarterback battle, that level of poise says a lot about his preparation. The spotlight has followed Sanders throughout his football career, and once again, he appeared to embrace it rather than shrink from it. Training camp isn't just another practice for him. Every throw is being evaluated, every decision is being analyzed, and every mistake could impact the quarterback race. Yet instead of playing cautiously, he attacked the opportunity with confidence. He looked like someone who genuinely believes he belongs on the field. Meanwhile, the contrast on the other side of the competition couldn't have been much bigger. Deshaun Watson experienced a difficult opening practice, struggling with accuracy and consistency throughout several periods. The toughest stretch came when he threw interceptions on consecutive passes. First, Denzel Ward stepped in front of one throw, reminding everyone why he remains one of the NFL's premier cornerbacks. Moments later, newcomer Diary Mathis added another interception, creating an unforgettable sequence that immediately became one of the biggest talking points of the day. Reports from practice also pointed out that Watson's session included several missed throws and floaters, making it a frustrating opening performance for the veteran quarterback. While one practice never decides an entire competition, first impressions matter, especially when another quarterback is making nearly every opportunity count. Another interesting detail from practice involved the personnel groups. Although Sanders primarily worked with the second-team offense, several talented rookie receivers, including Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion, were also practicing alongside him. Their chemistry was noticeable throughout the session, and if those young players continue developing together, the Browns may already be building valuable connections for both the present and the future. Even after practice officially ended, Sanders continued making a positive impression. Instead of heading straight off the field, he stayed behind with fellow quarterback Talon Green to help get in extra work. Those additional reps may seem minor to outsiders, but coaches and teammates notice players who are willing to stay late and help others improve. Leadership isn't always demonstrated during games. Sometimes it's built through moments exactly like these. The practice statistics reflected what many observers believed they had witnessed. Sanders completed 16 of his 19 passes without throwing an interception, while Watson finished 12 of 22 with 2 interceptions. Dillon Gabriel also threw an interception during practice, making Sanders's efficient performance stand out even more among the quarterback group. Offensive coordinator Todd Monken also shared an important message regarding the quarterback competition. He explained that the players themselves would determine who earns the starting job through their performance, rather than coaches making decisions based on expectations or reputation. He also indicated that quarterbacks receiving more first-team repetitions moving forward would naturally be viewed as leaders in the competition. If that philosophy remains consistent throughout camp, every single practice becomes extremely important. Elsewhere around camp, there were several additional updates. Denzel Ward expressed confidence that he still considers himself the NFL's top cornerback, while also making it clear that he wants to remain in Cleveland despite acknowledging that anything can happen in the business side of football. Grant Delpit celebrated his contract extension before returning to work, while offensive tackle DeWand Jones received some first-team reps. Defensive tackle Kalia Davis also exited practice early, with hopes that the issue is nothing serious. As training camp continues, the quarterback competition is far from over, but after the opening practice, one player unquestionably generated the strongest momentum. Shedeur Sanders didn't simply have a good day. He delivered the kind of performance that forces everyone inside the organization to keep watching closely. If he continues stacking practices like this, the conversation surrounding Cleveland's starting quarterback could change much faster than many expected. Now it's your turn, Browns fans. After everything that happened on day 1 of training camp, do you believe Shedeur Sanders has taken the early lead in the quarterback competition, or do you think it's still too early to reach that conclusion? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and click the video on your screen, because that's where you'll find all the latest Cleveland Browns news first. What makes this situation even more fascinating is that the first day wasn't only about statistics. It was about perception inside the building. Coaches watch every throw, but they also evaluate body language, leadership, preparation, communication with teammates, and how players respond when the pressure rises. On that front, Shedeur Sanders appeared to check every box. There was no panic, no hesitation, and no sign that the moment was too big for him. Instead, he looked like a quarterback who had arrived expecting to compete, not simply hoping for an opportunity. That mindset could become one of the biggest factors in this competition over the coming weeks. Training camp is designed to separate players who can consistently execute from those who flash only occasionally. One impressive practice is encouraging, but stacking great practices together is what earns trust from the coaching staff. Sanders has taken the first step, but now the challenge becomes repeating that level of performance every single day. Another point that shouldn't be overlooked is the chemistry he began building with some of Cleveland's younger offensive weapons. Developing timing with receivers doesn't happen overnight. Every repetition matters, and seeing Sanders connect with players like Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston throughout practice suggests those relationships are already beginning to form. If those connections continue improving, The Browns could have an exciting young offensive core developing together throughout camp. Todd Monken's comments also added another layer to the story. Rather than committing to a quarterback based on experience or reputation, he emphasized that the players themselves would determine who earns the starting role through their performance. That's exactly the type of competition fans want to see because it places the focus where it belongs, on execution. Every completion, every decision, every practice period now carries additional importance because the evaluation is happening in real time. If that philosophy remains consistent, then the distribution of first-team reps will become one of the biggest storylines to monitor. Watson opened with the first unit, but if Sanders continues outperforming the rest of the quarterback room, it would only make sense for him to receive more opportunities against the starting defense. Those reps often reveal even more about a quarterback's readiness because the speed of the game increases dramatically. Leadership also continues to separate Sanders from many young quarterbacks entering the league. Remaining after practice to work with Talon Green wasn't something he had to do. There was no requirement, no headline to chase, and no guarantee anyone would even notice. Yet those are exactly the moments teammates remember. Players naturally gravitate toward competitors who invest in the entire group, rather than focusing only on themselves. Those small actions often help build credibility inside the locker room long before the regular season begins. The Browns also received encouraging news elsewhere on the roster. Denzel Ward reaffirmed both his confidence and his commitment to Cleveland, expressing that he still believes he's the NFL's top cornerback while making it clear he wants to remain with the organization. Grant Delpit's contract extension further strengthens a secondary that already projects as one of the team's biggest strengths heading into the season. Meanwhile, Dawan Jones earning first-team reps shows that competition extends well beyond the quarterback position, reinforcing the coaching staff's message that every job must be earned. Of course, Browns fans know better than anyone that training camp stories can change quickly. A great practice today doesn't guarantee success tomorrow, just as one rough outing doesn't automatically eliminate a veteran from the race. Deshaun Watson still has time to respond, Dillon Gabriel will continue receiving opportunities, and every upcoming session presents another chance for the quarterback room to reshape the narrative. Still, if you're evaluating only what happened on the opening day, it's difficult to ignore who generated the strongest momentum. Sanders displayed accuracy, confidence, quick decision-making, leadership, and composure. Those are the qualities every organization hopes to see from a quarterback competing for the starting job, and they immediately placed him at the center of the conversation. Now, the biggest question is whether this was simply an outstanding first impression or the beginning of something much bigger for Cleveland. If Sanders keeps delivering performances like this, the pressure surrounding the quarterback competition will only continue to grow, and the coaching staff may eventually have no choice but to reward the player who consistently performs at the highest level. We're only at the beginning of training camp, but the excitement is already building, and every practice from this point forward could reshape the depth chart. Browns fans should be paying attention because this competition is far from over, and the next few weeks may determine the direction of the franchise heading into the season. If you enjoyed this update, make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and click the video that's on your screen right now. We'll continue bringing you every important Cleveland Browns development as soon as it happens, so stay locked in, because the latest Browns news always arrives here first.